Vice President of the Wisconsin Polka Hall of Fame. Thank you. I'm really not used to doing this. Our President Tuba Dan, who was to be here today to present the award, had a family emergency and could not make it. I would like to thank the Polish Connection for inviting us here today. And how about a hand for all the bands today? Is that some great lineup? Wonderful. Before I bring up Norm, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Wisconsin Polka Hall of Fame. It started 15 years ago in Milwaukee, and most of its members were from Milwaukee area. So most of the people that they nominated and inducted into the Wisconsin Polka Hall of Fame were from the Milwaukee area. I personally have spent the last 10 years traveling around Wisconsin trying to convince people to join our organization. It's a nonprofit organization, and everything we do is geared towards recognizing and honoring those individuals who have excelled in performing or promoting polka music, anything to do with polka across the state of Wisconsin. I know years ago, Gary from the Richland Dutchman had our Horizon Award back in 1998. Chad Shabilsky, before he discovered a barber, if you remember that, in 1999, and most recently too, Gary was nominated and inducted in for the Band of the Year for 2008. But all of that is done by the voting membership, and I put some little green pamphlets out here which explains a little bit about our organization. And for as little as $10 a year, you can join, and it gives you voting rights. You get discounts to our dances. You get our newsletters. But most important, and covering the cost of the awards that we present the individuals. But the most important thing, which I cannot stress hard enough, it's the polka lover, that we need your vote. We want to hear your input. You know, and even there's a website you can go to. You can send us a letter, tell us what you think, if you like us or if you don't like us. But we need your vote, because I know everyone here has got somebody in their heart, or their favorite person, or grandpa used to play, or just something, and you need to be heard. And by joining this organization, that's a good way to do it, and to get these people recognized and honored for what they do. I mean, because there's a lot to it. And it's just great music, and it's great it continues. And I know in the beginning, when I would go down to Milwaukee all the time, and I'd say, well, yeah, I remember the first time I met Norm personally was up in Fancher. And if you know where Fancher is, I mean, it was pretty hard. I had to get my detail map out, and I went and I explained to the board back then, I said, you know, it's great what you're doing, you know, for everybody in the Milwaukee area, but across Wisconsin, especially Pulaski and central Wisconsin, I said, these people know how to have fun, and it's some of the best music you'll ever hear. So please consider joining today. And it's not important, just drop us a line on the website and let us know what you think and how we can improve it. Also, there's a couple flyers I've got out. There's a spring dance on Milwaukee on March 28th, and there's a tribute that we're doing in conjunction with Wisconsin orchestra leaders at Locks Hall in Johnsonville. That's down by Sheboygan area. And it's the 100th birthday tribute to Romy Gauze, so it should be a great time. Anyways, let me see here on my notes. But please make your voices heard and join today. Everything's all nonprofit, and we, you know, give money away where we can, and just try to make everyone's voices be heard. So, and we definitely need bigger representation from Central Wisconsin and Pulaski and the Polish bands. I mean, they're great, you know, face it. So anyways, at this time, I'd like Greg Lobbs. He's on the board of directors. He's going to come up and he's going to give you a little rundown on Norm's history here. So come on up here, Greg. Thank you, Marina.
Thanks a lot, Kaiser. We got a little story about Norm Dombrowski here today. It starts out growing up in Portage County, Wisconsin. Norm Dombrowski attended many Polish weddings and parties and got to see many of the local bands with his parents. When starting high school, Norm, like many of his friends, was interested in rock and roll. At that time, Norm's school schedule permitted him to return home during the lunch hour, where he would listen to polka music on the radio. Norm especially enjoyed many of the Little Wally songs and discovered that Little Wally was going to be playing in Pleppen for 2 consecutive nights. Norm decided to go with a friend and see Little Wally in person, and was very impressed with the band and its great sound. That was when Norm saw the other side of polka music. With the energetic Little Wally style, Norm was hooked on polkas and started drumming in February of 1957, playing with many of the local bands, mostly 3-piece in size. In 1959, Norm met Jerry Halkowski, and on May 7th of 1960, started the Happy Notes Orchestra. The band was made up of 4 musicians of equal partnership: Jerry Halkowski, Marv Stenzel, Ron Gruna, and of course, Norm Dombrowski. They recorded the Ashland Avenue Hop and the Happy Notes Polka on the Northland label. Duke Wright Jr. was the recording engineer and also played the upright bass on these recordings. Duke also recorded many more 45s, plus 4 albums for the Happy Notes. In 1962, Jerry Halkowski left the band to pursue his teaching career and was replaced by Dave Wanta. Bob Organisak replaced Marv Stenzel, and Irv Kowalski joined the band. Many times, Gene Schulfer sat in for Ron Gruna, while Ron served in the National Guard. Later, Gene Lorbecki took over for Ron. In 1972, Irv and Dave left, and Mike Petrusky and Ken Kamlick joined the band. Joe Adams, Rudy Voika, and Marlon Schneider played at various times to help with the band's busy and demanding schedule, and Don Cheeseborough arranged music when he was with the band. In 1976, the band had other changes. While Ken Kamlick stayed with the band, Norm's son Mark began playing the sax and clarinet, and daughter Marie began playing the concertina, piano, and violin. Later, sons John would join in on the accordion, and Joe would play the trumpet. Daughter Jane made many singing appearances with the band, and also sang on some of the recordings. Joe Larson came at a later date, playing the piano and guitar. Norm has now been playing with his family band for over 34 years. In 1998, Norm Dombrowski and the Happy Notes had the honor of playing for 16 days in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. They appear on the Smithsonian Institute-produced Deep Polka CD. Also that same year, they performed in Madison for the 150th anniversary of the state of Wisconsin. The band also has played many times at the Milwaukee Polish Fest, the largest Polish fest in the nation, and for countless weddings, dances, picnics, and other celebrations. Some of their greatest hit songs include the Astronaut Polka, Sweet Violet's Waltz, Will You Love Me When, Looking for a Sweetheart, and Please Don't Drink My Beer, or mine. Thanks to the 45 RPM sales at Radio Doctors in Milwaukee and to one-stop record stores, the exposure gained from record sales and jukebox plays across the country has warranted several articles in the Billboard magazine. The band has recorded 142 songs, many of which appear on their 3 CDs. On May 7th, 2010, the band will celebrate 50 years of playing polkas, waltzes, and variety music. At this time, it gives me great pleasure, on behalf of the Wisconsin Polka Hall of Fame, to present Norm Dombrowski and the Happy Notes with the Wisconsin Hall of Fame's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations, Norm.